Hey, my friend, welcome back to the Mindshift Podcast. I'm excited to have you here with my friend Lori Rock. She is a former, as she describes it, overweight executive mom who has embarked on a remarkable journey from burnout to body, mind, soul revival, rediscovering her vibrant essence. Now, well into her 50s, as she puts it, she lives a life by design, passionately inspiring women to rise and thrive. Her mission is to empower women with the gift of confidence and joy in their own skin. With over 25 years of holistic health experience, including roles as a holistic RN and healthcare executive and a decade as a successful entrepreneur, Lori's holistic success and weight loss coaching are nothing short of transformational. Her method, the Thriving Woman Method, helps women finally release the weight and rekindle the life. Through her Thriving Woman Method, she helps women finally release the weight, rekindle the spark in their life, reshape self-sabotaging patterns, and awaken the body confidence and mojo that they desire. Lori and I met about 3 or 4 years ago, pre-pandemic, at a transformational event, and I'm happy to call her a friend. Lori, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Daryl. And I just really, I'm so honored and grateful to get to be here. And I admire all the work you're doing. I've been listening to your podcast for Skinny Minute, and every time there's just this gold nuggets that empower people and the planet. So thank you for all the work you're doing.
Well, the good news about that, and I appreciate that compliment, is that I just love being around great people who are doing great things and who have great intentions to do that type of work in the world. So I think that's the reason why these shows are so good. So thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for our connection from 4 years ago and the path that we've traveled. So, but hey, today, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience? Tell them a little bit more about what I didn't say in the intro.
So yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I'm so passionate about helping women. I coach women in their prime who are struggling to release weight and have the energy and confidence they need, and basically to do their mission. I have been working as a high performance coach for a long time, working with CEOs, executives, and people who are out there on purpose. And what I found across the board is that women are struggling with their energy and their confidence and overwhelm. And it comes down to not just weight. I say weight as a term of emotional weight, thought weight, feeling weight, weight of all the to-dos. It's the whole thing. And what I found as a high performance coach, these women, no matter what we did, yes, they would be happier. Yes, they'd be more productive. Yes, but there was some next level that they couldn't get to based on their own vitality. And I was like, I'm the girl. I've got 25 years in this. I was like, I'm going to get a program together because I've tried it all and done it all. And I've had amazing transformation. And I don't know if it's a good time to tell a story or not, but my mom was the inspiration for me to do this. So she's like so many women today who are trying to be it all, have it all, do it all, fried up in the pan. Remember that commercial? I can bring on the bacon. Yeah. So that's the messaging we're getting. Okay, you can do it all, have it all. And meanwhile, most women are extremely close to adrenal burnout, if not burned out and trying to recover or just sustain, right? So my mom was one of those people. She worked forever, being a single mom. She was out there doing cool stuff before cool stuff was amazing, right? She was a marketing executive. She did all the things. She was a single mom. She brought it home. She did the stuff. And we're all so admiring, but she waited to live. So super successful, waited to live, right? So finally, I watched her. I was looking at her and I'm like, oh, your life does not look that great. While I admired her and respected the heck out of her, I watched her and worried for her and was concerned for her the whole time. So she finally retires and she gets to Myrtle Beach, and she wears this red hat, which is this thing that you do when you're really old and retire. But she did it at 62 and she was so happy. She's like, I'm with the red hats. I'm relaxed. I'm not working anymore, And her think was, she always wanted to travel around the world, but she had waited and she wanted to be pilgrimaging to Europe and all the things, but she was actually pilgrimaging to the doctor all the time. And I was like, oh, It was heartbreaking. And I watched her get sicker and sicker and sicker. And then one day, when she's at the doctor's, at the physical therapist's office, I get the call. Your mom's had a stroke and she's not going to make it. And that to me was like, oh no, I'm not going to live like that. And I'm not going to let other people live like that, because that is not how we are designed. We are not designed to live a mediocre, half-lived life where we just work. We're designed to fulfill a passionate purpose. And everybody, if you're walking around on this blue ball on planet Earth, you have one. And it's time for women to step into their next level of leadership, because we need it as a planet.
Wow. Oh my geez. What a personal connection to your passion and your purpose. And I can imagine that time period was really hard for you to watch. And I'm sure there was some offshoot of the respect level that you had for her, and then how it consequently ended up in your life as well, because you tell the story, at least through what I've learned, that you also found yourself at a spot where your body, you were just out of balance as well. So how do you connect your mom's life experience to your personal experience as related to this out of balance life, whether it's emotional, physical, career, that kind of thing?
Thanks. That's a great question. And that's exactly what happened. So early on, I saw it. Like I'm reading all the personal development books. I'm reading the Vitamin Bible at 17 because my whole family was like overweight. My aunt owned a weight loss center and they were all fat. I'm like,
wait a minute. What's the Vitamin Bible? What is that?
It's this thing by Dirk and Sandy, whatever. I think Peterson. It's like really old. Like it's like really old. It was like one of the very first things on like nutrition that was like big out there.
I didn't grow up with that kind of Bible, but okay.
Yeah, it's a different Bible. I was like, I got to figure this out because these guys don't have it figured out. They're on a diet every other day. They're stressing I was like, that's not it. So I resisted that. So I did really well. Like I went out and learned about, I got another degree in like holistic health, and I learned how to live the lifestyle. I did yoga teacher training. I learned about nutrition. I trained in the industry. I taught at a college for holistic health, and spa and all this kind of stuff. And I got to the point where it wasn't just about the food. It wasn't even about the trying. It was about the mindset. It was about the nervous system dysregulation. And it was about the trying to fit myself into a square box when I'm a circle and it didn't fit. And this, it's unique to you. What is your thing? Yes, there's common principles for humanity, but there's specific principles for you. So I finally blew up. I was like, okay. I was like, what is not working? Striving and driving at that time. I was running a hospice. I moved up the food chain, and I had a big team working for me, and I was stressed, still doing all the same things, exercising like a fiend, eating what by everybody would think would be super clean and ultra healthy and all the things. It wasn't that. It was a combination of not being mindful, of losing myself, of losing presence and connection, like body, mind, and spirit, just like we say, but it's a real practical application. What does that actually mean? So I finally was like, okay, whatever I'm doing is not working. And clearly I can't do the same thing all the time. I'm a cyclical creature, just like men and women are both cyclical creatures. There's got to be a way to figure this out. And so I did. I tried everything and finally found a way that works and is sustainable, where peace becomes the norm of the day and joy becomes the norm of the day.
Come on. Let's go.
Come on.
If you're not listening, if you haven't been paying attention now, I'm sure you want to know about peace as your North Star for the day and joy as your North Star for the day. I love that. That's fantastic. Let me ask you this question. I got a couple of questions that come to mind. Yeah. What was one of the lowest moments for you during this journey of discovery, right? So the show, we always love to understand and unpack the themes around inspiration to realization. But then when life knocks us down, from breakdown to breakthrough. But what was one of the lowest moments for you?
Yeah, right. Well, I remember it really clearly. That's a great question. I was out on my patio, I was on my deck, and I hadn't like really like been clear about what was actually happening. And it was one of the last times I just kept spinning out. I was just spending money like crazy, like just signing up for this and signing up for that. I was so not present. And it was really, I was like, I mean, I was literally like 205 pounds, like me. Like, I was like, so unreal, so disconnected from, I was like chopped off at the neck. My heart and my head were not connected. My practices of that I had worked up in my, had gone out the window. I was just in survival mode. And I had a breakdown. I mean, I had a spiritual breakdown. I sat there and I was like, I can't take it anymore, God. I was like, what am I going to do? And I just like lost it. This is crazy. I forgot about this. I'm so, there was actually, at that same moment, this sounds a little funny, but there was a bird that was on the ground and it was hopping along. Turns out, this was a beautiful moment. Turns out it was a baby bird. And it was struggling. It had been, mama must have just kicked it out of the nest, you know? And this baby bird was really struggling. And there was these big blue jays flying overhead, screaming, quack, 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 quack. You know, it's like, get up, fly, fly. So literally this was maybe an hour. I sat there like mesmerized watching. And I had a really high fence and this bird's like trying to get up but falling down, trying to get up but falling down, trying to get up but falling down. And you know how the story is going to end, or I wouldn't be telling it. The dang bird gets over the fence, and I'm like, I've got to find a way. You know?
Oh, that's so interesting. Isn't it funny how God shows up with a message that, you know, we always say you hear from God in mysterious ways, and He uses the baby bird to say, "Hey, you can do it too."
Yeah,
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That's
and
so
it's
interesting.
It's so true for all of us. For all of us, where it's in there. It's in there for every single person. And anybody listening, it's in there for you, because so many women won't tell you. They certainly won't show you on Facebook. They certainly won't be like, you know, Instagram in that photo. But that's the photo that we can all relate to. That's the photo that's actually real. And when I really talk to people, because I'm a coach, and they tell me all their dirty laundry, and it's beautiful because they finally get it out and they go, oh my God, that's me too. Well, guess what? That is us all. There's a moment. Not everyone has to have something that dramatic, whatever, but there's a moment in time. And if you take it, it's not only all that you want available to you, but it's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
You talk about being a high performance coach. You don't talk about it. You are a high performance coach, and you talk about this transformational process that you take your clients through. What does transformation mean to you? And then how do you, because I think your point is that it's different for everyone, right?
Yeah.
So what does transformation mean to you? And then I have a second question behind that.
Transformation to me means that you have to connect. It's not just the pushing against or the striving. It's connecting to a vision that is truly aligned with what you want. Not what you think you should want, not what society says you want, not what everything you've been doing up until this point wants you to want, right? It's about what you truly want, and coming into heart, mind, and higher source alignment with that. And the thing is, it's not outside of you. I used to have a program called Grow Your Life and Business Inside Out, because it's all about what's in here. Everything you need to know. I don't need to tell you anything. It's really in there. You really have your resources within you. Yes, there's information and details and knowledge and true education, because I give a heck of an education, but transformation is feeding your brain with the knowledge you need to make it make sense and motivate you, healing your heart so that your obstacles, your programs, and your limitations, you get out of your way. And you may just have to get out of your way for a second just to take the step, just to take the one little step, and then you're like in momentum, right?
Ooh, that's powerful. Just for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Just stop the limiting beliefs for just a second, just long enough to let an opportunity of change show up. That's super powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. Just keep
Wow.
choosing moment to moment. Like what makes it sustainable, and what my experience has been, is having that vision and not losing sight of that vision, but pivoting, because life is going to come at you. It's going to get messy. It's a dang roller coaster for everybody. It's not like, oh, I've arrived. I like that we all think, oh, in the Western culture, I'm going to take a pill and I will have arrived. It'll be better then. Right?
Right.
Not the case.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Let me ask you this
now.
question.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this, because I think when I think about the work that I've done over the last 20, 30 years on my self-development, as well as in business and all the things, I find that because of things you said earlier, right? Our social conditioning, our upbringing, the environment, society, school, work, career, that we sometimes don't really know what we want. And we think that what we want is what all of the rest of the systems say we should have or need or desire. But how do you help your clients get to the true essence of what they want?
So important, because our culture is, there's some motivation for things to be confusing without going on a rant on that. There's some motivation.
No. You can rant on that. Wait. Say that one more time. And
okay,
you can rant
I'll
on
rant.
I think I'm with you. Yeah, I want you to go down that rabbit hole.
Okay.
Say it again, and then go ahead and go deeper.
Okay. There's definitely a motivation for things to be confusing, both medically, which is, and information wise and truth wise. There's to me, what I've seen, especially in the recent years, is that there's a huge monetary motivation for things to be confusing, for you to go, this quick fix. And we're constantly being programmed. And I hate to sound conspiracy theory, but I mean, it's the truth. We know that, right? You watch The Social Dilemma, you've seen it, right? We know that we are constantly being bombarded and programmed in our beliefs. And if you're not conscious, if you don't, I say play the awareness game. I teach people to become metacognition experts, right? How do you become aware of your own thinking? It is the great gift of being a human that we have that ability to be sovereign over our choices, to think. We are not a victim. We are not fall prey to that, but it takes building a muscle. It is building the strength of presence. It is not easy, because everything is designed to distract you, from social media to your obligations, to work, to overworking, to not creating spaciousness in your life, to having, yourself overcommitted because it's a work ethic and that's the good thing. And you get the praise for working so hard and working through Christmas. Oh my God, you took the call on your birthday. Congratulations. That's not congratulations. That's what are you, high? You missed a moment with your family. You missed your values. So the answer to your question is understanding what your values are. Like your real values, your core essence values, and beginning to align with those, but creating the presence to do that. And it's a practice. Like you really have to create space in your life. And, one of the simplest things I teach people is breath work. I healed my life with breath work. What do you mean? I was so heavy and I'm so stressed because I was in survival mode as a single mom, all this the endless list of things to be stressed about.
Almost like keeping your brain in a constant fight or flight syndrome, and we don't even realize it's there because it becomes automatic.
It's your comfort zone, and it becomes your home. It becomes your emotional home, and you don't know better. That's when we say step out of our comfort zone. Well, our brain is completely designed to keep us safe, which means it's completely designed to keep us in the same situation. No good, bad, or indifferent. It's the known, and the known is safe. Ooh, so, yeah.
Even when it hurts. Ooh. Preaching up here on a Thursday, ain't you, Lord?
All up in here.
Keeping you safe even when it isn't what you want.
Yeah.
Keeping you safe even when it hurts. keeping you safe even when it's keeping you up at night because it's known.
That's right. That's right. And the path, it's just these baby steps. And the thing is, with lack of awareness, if you don't step into the present moment with, well, there's a million tools, but some of the most profound ones are breath work, meditation. If you don't step into creating practices that support and structure your life, time management, productivity, all that kind of stuff, time blocking, blah, 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 all the typical tools, but really connecting with your heart's desire and remembering your vision and connecting to that every day, then you're going to take these little baby steps, and then you'll end up like me, where I woke up one day and go, whoa, how did I get here? Like, how did I get here?
Right.
You know, it doesn't even make sense. You know, like you, like I was hearing on one of your podcasts, like you're like, I'm 30 years old and I'm on the couch with my 2 duffel bags. And how did I get here? You know, and that's the moment when we don't want to get to. And the thing is, you don't have to get there. You don't have to get there. It's not required. You can go from, you can be good, and you can go from good to great. You don't need to go down to crapola.
Say that again. Say it again, because I think there's so much going on, especially around social media, where everyone wants to have a down in the dirt story. You don't need a down in the dirt story. In fact, I'd recommend you don't have one, right? Don't go there just so you can have the come up story. That's not required. Thank you so much for saying that, Lori. It's super good.
It's the truth. Good. You just preach it. Yeah, preach it here on a Thursday, right? You don't have to go there, but you can cultivate the presence to understand where you truly are at. And then it's not this big quantum leap. It's not like I'm going to go from kind of sort of miserable with anxiety to like joyful and sparky. You know, I'm not going to be that woman who walks in the room and everybody goes, oh, who's that? That's a skill, right? That's a date, but it's a buildable skill. It's just a muscle. Your emotional home is a skill, and it's moment to moment pivoting where you move towards what you are wanting, and you have to stay connected to your vision. You cannot be pushing away from what you don't want as your main source of operation. You must be moving towards your vision always and stay connected to the feeling of it, most importantly. Yeah.
Wow. You talk a lot about holistic health, and what is holistic health to you as you see it?
So, well, you know, sometimes I don't like to use that word because now everybody's using that word, you know, like they're like, oh, holistic. I'm like, well, it's not really, right? It's this one piece of it. And whole means WHOLE, right? It's the whole of humanity. And so you can't leave out any part. So you have to consider like when you say nourishment, well, I'm not just talking about, do I get, you know, lettuce or a Coke? I'm talking about like what nourishes you, like body, mind, and soul. So what thoughts nourish you? What foods? Yes, foods nourish you. What habits nourish you? What people, what community truly nourishes you? What are you doing on a day-to-day basis that is creating like the human that you want to become? Because you can completely reinvent yourself physically, emotionally, career-wise, and I have to say this out loud and proud for all the women out there, especially women over 45. At any age, you can have it all without doing it all, and it can completely be yours. It's so possible. I wish people knew how possible a life by design was, because it's right there.
I love it. I love it. So speaking of life by design and having it all, you have done something pretty incredible here recently and built yourself a little tiny house.
Yeah.
So I've seen it on TV. I've seen a couple of shows about it, but you are the very first person in my world who has built themselves and moved into and is excited about her tiny house. Do me a favor. I know they can't see it, but can you describe what your thought process was and just give us an update, because I know you're doing all sorts of things to this cool house.
Oh, dude, it's so cool. Well, you know, I had a moment, and I was driving back like from this personal development event. I had my daughter in the car because I had to train her right. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what do I want? And I'm like, what do I really want? And I was like, oh, this is a long time ago. like crickets, like there was nothing. And I'm like, I have no vision. Right. And so I got playful and was like, well, if I could do anything, what would I want to do? And I'm like, okay, well, I would live more of like a stable yet nomadic lifestyle, where I have like a business and life I love. So I went inside of, maybe 12 years ago, inside from being a corporate burned out executive to being an entrepreneur, like never ran a business. I didn't know what I was doing. Right. To being able to create a business that was online so that at that point I could travel anywhere. Then right at COVID, God bless COVID. I learned so much from COVID.
We all did.
We did, right? You either used it as fuel or you like went the other way. There's definitely a clear distinction of what was possible. So I was fixing, because that's what we say here in Texas, to buy a house, to buy a new house. And I was all excited to, get this new house, and it was going to be a mortgage and I was going to be stuck. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. That does not align with my vision. Fortunately for me, because I love the house, my business, my entrepreneurial business, I had two businesses. One was a media sales company. It shut down overnight for COVID, like boom. And I was like, oh, signal. And I was like, what's really my dream? And I was like, I'd had this tiny house dream forever. All I wanted to do was have like because I'm all about sustainability, living in alignment with the earth to the best of your ability, but in luxury, not like that. Not camping, but, not even glamping, like way past that. But being able to have community and being able to have options. So that's what I chose to do. So I built a tiny house instead, which was quite a project, so that I could live in a different country for, months every year, but still have a adorable little community and a place to come home to. And boy, has it worked out. I've done that for the last 2 years now. I've lived in different countries and it's been super cool.
I think the message that is coming through here is you do have a choice. You get a choice, and you can start to make that choice today if you've never thought about making that choice up until now. And there's so many, you said it even before, like choice of friends, family. Well, you don't get to choose the family, but choose the people you want to be around, the type of work you want to do. What you just get to choose what inspires you, and you can move towards it and do your life by design. I remember when I was leaving my prior industry to start the business that I've had now for the last 12, 13 years, which is the digital marketing agency and now this media company. And I walked away from a very sizable 6-figure income. And people, and I made the decision what it seemed to be to the public overnight.
Yeah.
But that decision was 4 years, 5 years in the making because of my life plan that I had written out in 2005. And I'd written out a 25-year life plan with my then coach, Kevin McGovern.
Nice.
And the intricacies of that plan said to me that there were things that I desired that current industry, though financially rewarding, didn't provide. Yeah. And to your point, I didn't see them providing it in the near term. So I said, this obviously, as much as I've enjoyed it, as much as I've had success with it, it doesn't align with my life plan. So to your discussion about life by design, I think that all of us can decide that either in our current situation, whether it's good or bad, because remember, I was in the real estate and lending industry for 17 years. And though I was going through a difficult time through the recession, I was still thriving after we had a big dip, of course.
Yeah.
But I was still thriving. And the reality was some people thought, you're going to get out of the industry. The industry is coming back. I'm like, well, you misunderstand. I'm not leaving because the industry is coming back. I'm not leaving because this is a terminal forever situation with the economy. I'm leaving because my plan doesn't align up with you completely don't understand.
Yeah.
So I'm 12 years removed and still have tons of friends in the space. And I respect the industry, and I could go back and crush it in the industry if I wanted to. But I'm like, I'll run into people and they're like, hey, do you miss the industry? No.
Yeah.
Why? Because I didn't want to work weekends anymore. I didn't want to get phone calls after 5 o'clock. I wanted
Yes.
control of my schedule. I didn't want to deal with 13 people on every transaction. I had all sorts of whys as to why it didn't work. I have kids in multiple states. I wanted to travel, and so there were all sorts of whys for why I was moving.
Yeah.
And the income was the least of my concern because I can make money doing anything. So
That's right. That's right.
So anyway, I love what you said about that, because it just, that whole idea of, and again, it's not easy. It's not a light switch. It's not take the magic pill and poof, you're in this brand new world. It's conscious decision making, and then setting up a set of habits with or without a coach. By the way, for those that are new to the Mindshift podcast and to the Mindshift methodology, it is 4 steps. It is number 1, make peace. Make peace, right? Make peace with your current situation, your past, whatever's led you to here. Just make peace with it, because too often we make emotional decisions that are just bad. So just make peace with it. You don't like where you're at? That's fine. Make peace with it. Step 2, make a new decision, right? As Lori talks about, transformation can't happen until you make a new decision. And that decision, as Anthony Robbins would say, Tony Robbins would say, it's a committed decision, which means to decide is to cut off all other alternatives. Step 3 is where Lori comes in, right? Lori is a coach. She's an advisor. She's in your corner. And I always say now it's about making a plan. And sometimes you don't know what the plan is. And that's why you need someone like a coach like Lori in your corner. And then, of course, your job is to, of course, number 4, make it happen. And making it happen doesn't mean it's going to change from Monday to Tuesday.
That's right.
Or from Wednesday to Thursday, or from Saturday to next. You have to be committed to the plan. And so, Lori, as we sort of bring this plane to the ground, I want to have you tell everyone a little bit about your program. I think you've got a free invitation or a gift for those listeners who would be so inclined to take a little bit deeper look into the world of Lori Rock and your coaching and how you're helping women with transformation. By the way, I've got to say this for the record. I've met you, I don't know, 4 years ago or so. We've never seen each other since the event physically. It's always been through a Zoom meeting, through our mastermind, through different connections. But I can always say that anytime we've gotten together on a video call of any kind, there's nothing but a smile and joy and vibrancy coming from you. And I'm really interested to know, how is it that you sustain that vibrancy in your life?
Oh, thanks. And thank you for that sweet compliment. I totally appreciate that. So I'll start with that and then share a little bit about what I have to offer. I want to give you guys something juicy. It's all about the practices, and you're going to hear from so many people about how to begin your day and how to do all that stuff. I will tell you something. The 3 things that you may take for granted that are like not simple, but absolutely game changing, are living in a state of appreciation. Like, you got to think about all the new science supports. We are energetic beings. If I took a giant electron microscope, and like looked at your body, you're literally just vibrating particles. We lose sight of that all the time, about how magnificent it is that we are floating on a blue ball, inhabiting this space, this body. We lose sight of that. And so if you remember that, and you have this appreciation for what is, and you look around you, maybe you don't have something to appreciate. Maybe somebody died. Maybe you're sick. Maybe you just got divorced. Maybe your toe got run over. I don't know. But maybe something's wrong, right? And it's so easy because our brain is a survival brain. It wants to keep you safe. So it's like, here's a problem. Stay alert, right? You have to pull yourself out of your survival mind and begin to train your brain. So training your brain towards appreciation. And if there is, rather than gratitude, and I love that gratitude are different, but gratitude to me feels obligatory, whereas appreciation feels like it's just the nuance. It's like a discernment. It's just kind of this odd discernment.
So it's a weird, interesting. If I jump right quick, and then I want to go back and get your other 2. As I've done my work over the last 12 years, specifically in the world of mindfulness and meditation, and to your point of breath work, I mean, I've been on my own journey, and I'll tell you that I've also come across this understanding that gratitude. I thought it was interesting. You said obligatory. I've never thought of it as that, but there is another level, and it is called appreciation. And the way I understood it is hope is a great level to be at if you were previously frustrated.
Yeah.
But then gratitude is a better level to be at if you were just at hope.
Yep.
And then
Great.
appreciation is even better
Yeah.
because it's, whether it is or isn't, it's just it's another realm up on the ladder of emotion, and it feels incredible, right? To your point of the ball in the sky. And so how often we quickly forget the blessings of everything we have the minute we wake up.
Yeah.
And how it all just works without our thinking about it, right? No resources get trucked into the planet. It just all gets created. We are
That's
creating
right.
beings. Let me get off my tangent, but
No, I'm like, yeah, mic drop, fire, because that's it.
Give me the other two. Give me the other two. So a life of appreciation. And what's the other two?
Yeah, like matching up to, well, let's say this last thing on appreciation, because if you can't find something to be grateful for or appreciate, right? Look around you. Just find the simple thing. Don't look for, oh, my husband's so amazing, I got to appreciate him. Well, maybe he's not so amazing today, right? Maybe.
Say that for the fellas. Say that for the fellas. Help the fellas out.
Yeah, right. So
thank you, Lori. Help us out.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, when you shift your energy, what's weird, right, is by looking at the little things around you. So the simple things, finding simple things, the squirrel, the bird, the fact that you have a roof over your head, the fact that the basic stuff, right? But like, there's just, if you just open your eyes, you'll see it. And back to the energetic thing, because we are vibrational beings. I love all the new science. I could just sit there and immerse myself and it's like, oh, it all makes so much sense, that we create our vibration, right? And it's literally quite scientifically. I used to talk about this, people are like, oh my God, she's crazy.
Right. Until the last 5 to 10 years, it's all becoming known.
It's all like, oh, that's how it is. Yeah. So, but you can level up your own vibration, and thereby you will bring in different things in your life. Like if you're happy and joyful, and back to the example of maybe your husband's not being so great today, right? If you're walking through in appreciation, noticing things, some of the stuff that's going on with him is not going to affect you, and you're not going to be judging him, but maybe because you took sovereignty, because you took self-responsibility, because you made an effort, you could show up for him. You could show up for him and role model for him. And hey, I don't know. I'm all about each person being self-responsible, but that's a whole nother relationship topic. And so I will stop there. But yeah, leveling up your energy is huge. Okay, so that's one, with appreciation. 2 is what everybody tells you, and it's so true. Move, for the love of God, move. Move your body. Move your body. Let nature take over. Let your body, once it moves, it gives you free drugs. Take them.
I love that. Gives you free drugs.
Take it. And the last thing that is so important, and is something I've been guilty of for a huge majority of my life, being a leader, an executive, is isolation, is being the leader who does it alone and not having community, or waiting too long till the problem is too big in your business or otherwise to ask, because you're supposed to know all the answers, right? And so that's something I really, really, in the past few years, I have created such an amazing community of people, colleagues, people who are on the same plane, playing the same game. And that is transformational, because it takes courage to play a bigger game. And
huge.
Yeah. So whether that's your health or your life or your relationships or whatever. Yeah.
I'll butcher the quote that I read here just a couple of days ago, but it said basically that he or they, she, who cannot do it on their own, couldn't do it with a group either.
Ooh.
So people always, and I'm butchering it, but basically the point is we always think we need and have to have someone running beside us, cheering us on. And the concept is there's a balancing act of, if you can't go alone and get it done, then what's the group going to help you with? And there's some people who can take that to the extreme, to your point of earlier, which I say we're also not saying, as leaders of any part of your life, business, etc., that you should suffer in silence, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to have a community around you. Like I mentioned to you, I was at Mastermind yesterday with my group, one of my groups, and we're in an NDA room once a month for 8 hours, and everything and anything, and it does come out. The lawsuits, the this, the divorces, the things, all of it comes out, and it's under NDA. So you can't suffer in silence or struggle in silence. You need community for that. But your mission is your mission. You don't need someone to believe in your mission. You have to, right? You don't need someone to pick you up when you're down. You need to pick yourself up. You know, I remember that 20 something years ago when I was going through a really tough time, and coming from a spiritual, religious upbringing, a church upbringing, you're taught to lean a lot on the prayers of others. You're taught to lean on, hey, so-and-so, can you pray for me? There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, pastor, can you pray for me? No, not wrong with that. But I remember the first time I woke up and like, well, why don't you pray for yourself? Mm-hmm. Like, open your mouth and pray for yourself, right?
Yeah.
So, and I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, let's bring this home. Let's tell everybody what you have. We got a couple quick minutes left.
Sure.
What do you want to do? What if someone's listening right now and they're like, huh, I like this lady. Where do you want them to go connect with you?
So great. So you can find me on Instagram at Lori Rock Coaching. Lori Rock Coaching on Instagram is my handle, and I would love to see you there. Please reach out, send me a message, ask me your questions. I'd be happy to just, tell you what I know, because honestly, like, the more women, especially women, it's time for women to lead. And the more women like that escape burnout, that get into their life and be able to do their life with greater ease, greater, have greater mission, have greater happiness, have greater sex. The women that get to do that get to lead really well and get to come alongside men and become partners, like real partners. And when we can do this, we can lead the world like where it needs to go, is in deep need of healing. I think we can all see that our system is broken. And if you don't step up now to do your part in it, well, to me, that's just irresponsible. And you do that by having a vision, So I'd love to give you guys something. I've just changed my mind about what I'm going to give you. I have this beautiful book. It's a life design book. It's just a little PDF. You can print it out and you can kind of start beginning to cultivate the next vision. Maybe you're already super successful. Yay, you, right? Get to the next level. There's always a next level. I'm working with the people I work with. Oh my gosh. The transformations. I'm working with a colonel. I work with doctors. I work with dentists. And I also work with the extreme opposite, Midwestern mamas, right? Who are just want to make their difference their way. Well, they don't ever do that without connecting to their vision first. So I'd love to give you my life design book, and you'll be able to click on the link. And it's just one last thought. Do whatever it takes. Do whatever it takes to become a role model and create a ripple effect in this world, because you don't know who is watching you. You literally don't know who is watching you or the influence you are having. Like this, like, just for an example, my friend who's become my friend, one of my clients, Jenica, I'm allowed to use her name, asked, she shared, she was in pain. She was in agony. She couldn't even hold her husband's hand. She's trying to, maybe she wants to start it. She's got a business going. She's got a bunch of kids at home. She was so just emotionally and spiritually and physically inflamed that she couldn't hold her husband's hand. So she went on the journey, did my program, was resistant, which I love. The more resistant you are, because the bigger the breakthrough you have. right? She's like, this ain't gonna work. I tried everything. I tried it all. I told my people, I tried it all. I know everything. I'm like, love it. Yeah, come on. You tried it all. Come on, let's go there, right? And now her whole family has completely transformed their health, right? So her husband has, her teenage daughters have. They've reduced their anxiety medication. The daughter just went to college just a month ago, chose the school based on the vibes because she realizes about the people and the quality of people, but more importantly, related to the holistic nutrition program, is about the food quality that was available. She did not choose a school that she wanted to go to because of the food quality. See, yeah. And so she did that. Jenica did that. Her family was influenced, and her mother is also gone through the program and has said, just told me the other night, she's healthier and happier. She just did 20 miles. 2 years ago, she was literally having to need a wheelchair part of the time. So
incredible.
That's what's possible for you. And if you can step into that, like do your life, like however you figure it out, step into the next level of leadership so that you can leave the ripple effect. That's it.
Lori, thank you so much for being here with us today. Everyone, listen, get the Life Design book. It's going to be linked up in the show notes below or wherever you're listening to this show today. Lori, thank you for leading. Thank you for transforming. Thank you for the journey of the work that you're doing consistently. In our world, we always talk about constant and never-ending improvement because this journey doesn't just start and stop and all of a sudden magically you're like that for life. It takes constant work and it takes a certain type of person to continue to do the work. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for stopping by our show today. Thank you for being a friend. And for those of you listening today, I hope you've gotten a lot out of today's conversation and are inspired. I hope through our day today, you've heard some real story and really gotten some real strategy that'll help you get real results. My name is Daryl Evans. If this is your first time here, I'm the host of the Mind Shift Podcast. Hit the follow or subscribe button. If you are not subscribed, you're missing out on our weekly content. And if this helped you, maybe it'll help someone else. Hit the share button and bring someone else into the Mind Shift world. We'll see you next time. Hit the subscribe button so you can become a part of the Mind Shift community. We'll help you shift your mind so you can shift your results.